You have to start early. My children are 10 and 7, but I'm not going to wait until they're 13 to start talking to them about staying safe online. We're already having those conversations. We're already working on limiting that screen time, limiting what they can and can't do online, putting those boundaries, putting those parameters in place so that when they are older and they're using social media, they'll have a better understanding and a better set of tools at their disposal to navigate.
You're listening to the SmartSocial.com podcast, your trusted source for real-world tactics that keep students safe and help them to shine online. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. Each week, I sit down with K-12 superintendents, district leaders, and community voices who are shaping digital safety. We discuss wins, struggles, and strategies used to guide students so they can be safe and successful online.
Hi, my name is John Armstrong. I'm the Chief Officer for Technology and Innovation for Joliet Public Schools, District 86, a little bit south of Chicago. We have 21 schools and we service about 9,100 students.
John, welcome to the program. I'm so excited to have you here today, especially to learn from you about some safety tips using that technology hat that you'll wear today. And then also we'll get some parent advice and ideas on parent engagement for districts. And then at the end, I'd just love to get a bunch of your tips and ideas on how we can better protect kids. But first, I want to start off, John, with kind of a pop quiz. What type of teacher or role did you start off in the beginning of your career in education?
I was a band director for many, many years. I taught band at all levels, mostly here in Illinois.
That's amazing. What's your favorite instrument?
I was a clarinet major. I don't know if it's my favorite instrument, but it's certainly one of them.
That's awesome. Well, I want to welcome all of our audience here today. Remember that Smart Social keeps kids safe so they can shine online. John, after 230 plus superintendent and district leader conversations in 45 plus states, we've heard some consistent trends, and I want to get your advice here today. Now, for all the parents watching, you're either a parent, a superintendent, or someone in between. We love you. We're here to support you and help you keep those kiddos safe so they're successful. And successful means shining online someday. More on that at SmartSocial.com, where we make sure every kid, when parents are ready to be online at the age of 16 and above, they then have a game plan to put their future resume online to get ready for their dream college, career, internship, and everything else. John, first, I want to get your advice. Here's some of the challenges we've heard of for this next school year, this current upcoming school year. After these hundreds of discussions, districts name these as the primary issues with students and social media, and I would love your advice. First, we hear hidden direct messages are a problem, dangerous TikTok challenges, group text messages, students chatting with unknown people online, inappropriate content off campus, which sometimes becomes a problem on Monday morning on campus for school districts. And then the kicker, the one that every district leader says, Josh, if we could just get rid of that last one, then we wouldn't have a problem anywhere. It's screen time or phone addiction. Are any of these more prevalent than the others? Are there any that I've missed?
I would agree that we see screen time and screen time addiction as a challenge. The TikTok challenges can be frustrating. And the other one is, of course, inappropriate content. We do struggle with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a normal issue to struggle with the district, nationwide. And a lot of the communities, the other superintendents and directors who might be watching this, you're probably thinking, our community is unique and different. I totally understand. For all of our listeners, I'm holding up an iPhone. Your kids all have probably an iPhone or an Android, or they're begging for it, and they want to put TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Fortnite, Minecraft, or Roblox on it. So we all have this common denominator. That's why you'll start to see us here at Smart Social just figure out, what is that common denominator? How do we have better dialogue starters? I just gave away the whole program. That the key, parents, is not a safety app that's going to protect your family. It's how to have a rich dialogue with your kids. And that's why we have John here. John, some leaders nationwide have mentioned to us on this program that certain online trends have caught them a little off guard. Now, this isn't ever to make a district leader look like, oh no, they weren't prepared. It's just tech is moving so fast and the vulnerability helps us be better. At least I know that it catches me off guard. I would love to know from you, what kinds of things tend to surprise you when it comes to student tech use? Are there any trends where you're like, Josh, here's what I'm seeing now that's like a new trend, or this was shocking recently when I saw it?
I would say that the trends that I see that surprise me or shock me tend to fall into two different categories. And the first is around things like TikTok challenges that the children see, and then they bring into the school environment. And there's a real risk of bridging the digital world into the physical world and causing some real physical safety challenges for our students. For example, the TikTok challenge that we had last year, where students were learning how to make their Chromebooks catch on fire or to smoke, that came back as soon as the school year started this year. And so we thought it had gone away, but it's still there. And students who do have a lot of common sense, sometimes when things come through digitally, that common sense seems to go out the door, and they don't think of things like how dangerous something like that could be. There's one that we just heard of last week, which is a new TikTok challenge, which encourages students to do something very disgusting. And that one's been going around too. And students could get in a lot of trouble by doing those kinds of things. And then in the other side of things that we see is the lack of understanding of privacy and things that should be private. And we spend a lot of time working with school staff on student data privacy, but students don't necessarily understand it from the same perspective. And they don't necessarily understand what sharing their personal information or other confidential information, how dangerous that can be.
Yeah, so true. Can you give us an example on the privacy real quick?
Certainly. We've got a lot of AI. It is a conversation we're having all of the time. We want to work with students and teach them how to use AI, just like we had to teach them how to use Google. But they don't necessarily understand not to put in specific details into an AI prompt. Once they put information into an AI prompt, into the language model, it could always be out there. So we want to work with students and make sure that they have that understanding that once they share that data, it's not.
Yeah, so true. Okay, the next question I have for you, John, is in conversations with your staff, what do you hear them say is hardest to keep up with? Is it social media shifts and speed of social media apps? Is it AI, or is it student screen habits?
From a staff perspective, we're hearing mostly about AI and how quickly AI is developing. I think that there's a great fear factor there amongst the staff, not just about student usage, but about staff usage as well.
Yeah, can you give us an example of maybe a good way that staff's using it in your schools?
We are starting to see adults who are doing more experimentation with AI, and they're using it for planning purposes and for productivity purposes, as not necessarily specifically about teaching, unless it's for lesson planning or prompting along those lines.
Yeah, and I've heard really good things. I've heard some teachers say, wow, Josh, this has saved me a ton of time. I can spend more time with the students. I can really nurture and lead the students because AI has shrunk the amount of planning, IEP time, and all that other stuff. Have you heard some of that?
I hear a lot of that. And I hear from the staff who are willing to use AI that they are, and those who are really using it from a productivity perspective, that they are expressing that increase in efficiency and productivity. And they're really enjoying it because it's, as you said, it's saving them a lot of time.
Yeah, it gets us back to the basics. The most important thing is the kids and spending time with them. I love that. Okay, my next question for you. We often hear principals say that they feel pulled in many directions when it comes to digital safety and engagement. How can parents better partner with school staff to support students around screen time and social media safety?
So I think that from the parents' perspective, we want the parents to partner with the school staff, but I really see it as the school's responsibility to partner with the parents and to reach out that way. And in some of the ways that we found that work well for us is smaller groups and their desired language, and having conversations with them and in an informal way, and letting them ask the questions that are causing them concerns. That's a really good way that we found just to open up that dialogue with the parents and guardians so that they can express where they're coming from.
I love that. Smaller groups, desired language. That's great. Those are good tips. Okay, so for our audience watching here today, remember we have millions of people a year that watch our parent night events. I want to show you one of the biggest questions we get for our audience. Parents ask us, Josh, what advice would you give a student to help them recognize some of the red flags of a dangerous stranger? Let's hear directly from a teenager about how she might help a friend recognize red flags. Parents, this is from one of our parent night events that we have. You can come to these for free. We'll show you at the end how you can participate.
If I had a friend talking online to a stranger, I think that I would feel a little bit uncomfortable with the whole situation. I would advise against it because so many indirect issues can come from that, and it could cause something to be worse than if they had just unadded them in the first place. Some red flags that I would have to advise them to cut it off with this person or to stop engaging would be if the person starts to get very involved in their personal life, and they seem to be very intrigued in what's going on with them and wanting to know all little details about what they do and who they are, and just very personal details and things that you wouldn't normally share with a stranger in real life. If they're very persistent and constantly wanting to talk to my friend or constantly trying to be involved in their life or wanting to speak to them, I feel like that's kind of a red flag. Another thing would be if they ask them to ever meet them anywhere in person right from the start, if they feel a sense of being uncomfortable or their intuition is just saying it's wrong, or if my intuition is saying something feels wrong with this, then I think that's a major red flag.
Parents, remember, this is one of the free parent night events we have. Real teens come to the program where you get weekly live parent events and replays, teen-led video lessons, and premium parent newsletters. We hope you'll come out to the next program at SmartSocial. And remember, parents, if you're struggling with anything, SmartSocial has the best parent guides on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox, Netflix, WhatsApp, and 450 more in English, Espanol, Mandarin, and 9 other languages. No one is left behind. You can join our live events where you register, and you join from the convenience of your smartphone or tablet. And we also have the latest dangerous safety threats that are put together by our team. Shout out to the incredible parents at SmartSocial, our army of research people. Okay, John, my next question for you is, some districts have said that they wish they had more time to focus on student safety and parent engagement. What area would you tell other districts is the most important part to focus on to support parents?
So I think the most important thing for parents is awareness. I think parents and guardians really need to be dialed into what their children are doing online, not just for school, but in social media and in all other ways that a student is online, whether it's just shopping or communicating with friends or participating in games. I think parents really need to dial in on what exactly their children are doing online, but then also having that communication, reaching out to the school district and asking the questions where their concerns lie. And not that the school district has all the answers, but oftentimes they may have a tool or a suggestion that might help with your particular situation.
Yeah, great point. Awareness is key. I love that. Okay, the final question I have for you. District leaders tell us nationwide that parent engagement helps them get ahead of future student social media problems, right? And there's just so many whack-a-mole things that we're trying to protect kids from. What parent and student preventative education would you recommend to other districts to help them get ahead of these problems before they happen on campus?
Really, I'm saying this as a parent and as an educator who lives in the digital world, is you have to start early. My children are 10 and 7, and they shouldn't be on social media, but I'm not going to wait until they're 13 to start talking to them about staying safe online. We're already having those conversations. We're already working on limiting that screen time, limiting what they can and can't do online, putting those boundaries, putting those parameters in place so that when they are older and they're using social media, they'll have a better understanding and a better set of tools at their disposal to navigate.
So true. And the thing you just said that I love is you wouldn't give kids keys to a car and just say, go learn to drive it. Or you wouldn't start teaching them how to drive the day you give them the keys. You train them years before how to be safe drivers and stuff like that. I love that. What are some other preventative education measures that you would recommend to districts? Maybe some of the basics that they shouldn't forget.
Most parents likely have a way of setting parental controls on what their children are doing online at home. Most internet service providers and most devices will allow the parents to do some level of parental controls to limit what their students can do. I also recommend limiting not only what they can do, but how long they can do it. Limit the time online, limit the time that a certain device can be used. Make a differentiation between school use of an electronic device and not being online and entertainment or consumption, personal consumption. There's a difference there, and both should have their limits, and both should have have some reasonable levels of rules written around them, so to speak, so that students and parents know what's acceptable when they're online.
Yeah, well said. John, you took a lot of time out of your busy day to join us here today. Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Keeping students safe online is very, very important.
Thanks to all of our audience members, whether you're a parent, a superintendent, a district leader, or anyone in between, we're all here to keep your kids safe so they can be successful someday. And that means at the age of 16 and beyond, when you're ready for them to be on social media, you start thinking about how can they start shining online to help build a positive presence. Parents, my final thought for you here today is whenever you're posting online, remember to try and keep it light, bright, and polite because your kids will model what you do online. I'm Josh Oakes, the founder of SmartSocial.com. Thanks for joining the program here today. We'll see you on the next episode. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks for spending time with the SmartSocial.com podcast. If today's insights were useful, please share the episode with a fellow parent or educator and subscribe so you never miss our next conversation. And parents, make sure to join one of our next live online events each week to keep your family safe and also enter for a chance to win cool prizes. You can learn more at SmartSocial.com. I'm your host, Josh Oakes, and parents, remember to keep it light, bright, and polite because your kids are watching what you're doing online. I'll see you on the next episode.